I'm here in Alaska, where I spend a month or more every year in the mountains and on the water. And over the years, I've been astounded by how heavily the Alaska experience is influenced by plane crashes. And just think about this for a minute. Alaska has about 100 plane and helicopter crashes per year. There are 40 cases of missing aircraft still open in Alaska today. A number so shocking that they've spawned this idea of the Alaska Triangle, which assigns almost like supernatural forces as a way to explain all of the freaky occurrences.
The triangle alone is damn near the size of Texas. It's just too big with too many mysterious cases for a single person to even look into a fraction of them all. So, to investigate the Alaska Triangle, I'm focusing my attention on what many believe to be its most iconic case.
The Begich Boggs flight, which left Anchorage in 1972 carrying 2 U.S. congressmen.
On October 16, 1972, 2 U.S. congressmen, Nick Begich, Alaska's sole representative to the House, and Thomas Hale Boggs Sr., the U.S. House Majority Leader, boarded a Cessna 310 at Anchorage International Airport. The weather that day called for poor visibility, icy rain, and strong headwinds along their route. Begich and Boggs were both in Alaska for Begich's re-election campaign, accompanied by Begich's aide, Russell Brown, and pilot Don Johns. And despite the warning, they took off into overcast skies toward Juneau, the state capital. 10 minutes after departure, Johns communicated his flight plan to the FAA Flight Service Station, marking their last known contact with the world. Johns' plan was to fly southeast along a waterway called Turnagain Arm, then up and over Portage Pass, over Prince William Sound, and then across the northern lip of the Gulf of Alaska and into Juneau. When the plane failed to arrive in Juneau and all attempts at communication had been exhausted, the state initiated the largest search and rescue operation in its history, which even included a cutting-edge Air Force spy plane. After 39 days of exhausting and dangerous work, the search was called off and the occupants of the plane were declared dead. The Begich Boggs flight would become the most famous case in an area that folks would later begin to call the Alaska Triangle.
After a half century of searching, they found nothing, not a trace. How do you even begin to explain just that one disappearance, let alone all of the others? This is one of the last frontier's most enduring mysteries.
My plan is to hit all of the major locations along the Begich Boggs flight path to really get a sense of the region and see how an entire plane could vanish. Could it have ended up in the mountains or inside a glacier or under 1,000 feet of salt water? I'm starting from Anchorage, where the flight originally departed. It is the state's largest city and happens to be one of the 3 points of the triangle.
So when the pilot Don Johns filed his flight plan, what would that description look like if you were filing a flight plan?
So out of Anchorage here, you would head east up Turnagain Arm, head all the way up to basically the headwaters of that, and you got to make a turn through the notch in the mountains. That's Portage Pass, and that's where the weather likes to hold up right there, and that's always the tricky spot. Once you get through that, it gets you to the other side into Whittier.
If you had to take a wild guess at it, how many days out of the year can you get through Portage Pass?
I don't know, just a guess, probably 20% of the time. Yeah, so.
20% is yes?
Yeah.
So you get up there and then you make the call?
Yeah.
So we'll have to do that today.
We don't know till we see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right now we're headed over Portage Pass. Real common for the fog to cling to the mountainside and just plug up this little section of mountains here. Right now it looks nice, but you can kind of see a little bit of fog kind of clinging to the hillside there.
I didn't really appreciate that turn.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't see any of this until we were literally there, right?
Yeah, that really puts it in perspective. It's just like out of nowhere.
Squeezing through this narrow pass takes a ballsy pilot.
That's a really narrow gap.
And if there was bad weather, things get sketchy here real fast. Sometimes too fast.
All right, touchdown on Whittier, Alaska.
But if you're going all the way to Juneau, reaching Whittier hardly means you're in the clear. It sits at the northwest corner of Prince William Sound, which the flight would have needed to cross before entering the vastness of the Gulf of Alaska. If you had trouble with your plane and needed to ditch into these glacial, ice-cold waters, you'd immediately be in a deadly situation. It is possible this is where the flight could have gone down. And if it did, that plane and those people are at the bottom of these deep, frigid waters. But back in 1972, when officials were conducting the biggest search and rescue operation in the state's history, the primary focus was back on Portage Glacier. And now, I want to experience it up close. Portage Glacier is quite different than it was back in 1972. Melted and diminished, it's too unstable now to properly explore. I'm heading next to another glacier, one that is known to have literally swallowed another plane along with 52 passengers and crew. Colony Glacier. The vast ice of Colony Glacier holds many centuries worth of secrets in its crevasses. So I'm going in to see what I can learn firsthand about its inherent dangers. Could a massive glacial crevasse have swallowed the Begich Boggs flight, leaving no trace behind?
Oh my God. Woo. Man, it's gorgeous, but holy cow, it's intimidating. It's surreal, man. Holy smokes. Yeah, so you're like in the bottom of the glacier, just like a crack that formed, but you're looking at ice from thousands, perhaps tens of thousands of years ago down here.
Being inside the sheer immensity of this glacier, I can certainly see how nature itself could have caused this plane to vanish without a trace. No need for the supernatural.
These things are under immense pressure and they're moving. This is not a static ice field. These crevasses open and close. They yawn out and collapse in and just grind stuff. If you didn't have the technical equipment we have with us, I mean, you're just like, it's a joke. You're not coming out of here. You're just not coming out of here. You're just imprisoned. I mean, what a perfect disposal system to just lose something in here. Yeah, I mean, who knows how many things are hiding inside all this ice.
So, here's my take. I've been across at this point, almost certainly the entirety of the Begich Boggs flight, and is probably somewhere out here in Prince William Sound. You look at this landscape, the last frontier, right? You look at it and you think of all the people that have vanished here, the 40 aircraft that are missing here, the mystery of it, just the people that have been consumed by it. And you want to look and say that it must be some supernatural force. It must be something out of the ordinary. Alaska is raw nature. It's some of the best nature we have left on this planet. And that nature draws people in, and it's like the bait in the trap, and it carries a hazard. It rules the day. You need to live according to it. Like the tides, the clouds, the mountains, the rain, the cold. You can't overcome these. I don't think that you should think about it like the Alaska Triangle. It's the landscape. It's the hazard inherent in a landscape where nature is still in charge. It's not supernatural, it's super nature. In my view, it's not the Alaska Triangle. It's just Alaska.